Hello, hello, and welcome to Saturday Soundbites. I'm your host, Veronica, and I am here today to talk about all the things we love: branding, marketing, advertising, networking, public relations, all the things you need to grow your visibility strategy, because that's what Saturday Soundbites is all about. We bring on guests that really help you put all of those components together to grow your business, make sure your copy is on point, make sure the processes you have in place are on point, and all the different innovative ways that you can start incorporating new practices that are going to help you grow and launch your business, not just for entrepreneurs, but traditional brick and mortar businesses too. So if you are listening on the podcast, make sure you hit subscribe. We don't want you to miss any episodes of Saturday Soundbites. And if you're tuning in on Facebook, drop us some comments. And if you catch the replay, hashtag replay so my guest and I can go back and connect. With that, I am going to bring on a phenomenally talented lady who is going to share her skills and expertise really around launching and copywriting and all the things that you need to start thinking about to grow your business. So I'm going to invite Natalie Taggart up to the stage with us. Natalie, thank you for joining us.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm
You
so excited
bet.
to be here.
Oh, good. We're so glad to have you. And you really have a lot of experience with launching and putting together copy, but more importantly, you have a lot of experience with strategy. So tell us how you even started this.
Yes. So, my corporate background, like many people, I had a corporate job before I was an entrepreneur. My corporate background is in marketing and communications. And I learned, or I discovered very early on that, like, okay, corporate life, not for me. Let me figure out what else to do. I discovered the online coaching world almost 10 years ago, which is pretty crazy. Back
Wow.
in 2013, I worked with my first coach and I was like, what is this? Like, I need in on this. So I got certified as a life coach. I had a life coaching business for many years. And then I discovered, like, as I was doing more of that, that all of the coaches I was meeting and networking with, they all were having a lot of trouble with their marketing. And they couldn't figure out how to talk about their work, how to package their work, how to put themselves out there. And I realized that my background in marketing could be really helpful. So I started focusing on business coaching and marketing coaching. And then I added copywriting a couple of years ago. And the copy piece really, I was so excited when I put that piece together because copy, I think, is so, I know it's so important. And it's very easily overlooked.
Yeah.
So it can make a really big difference in your results. And that's what I like to bring to my clients.
Yeah, absolutely it does. And in the marketing perspective, it's all the components of good copy, good art, good branding, obviously a good product. But what are some of the things that you see in terms of lack of strategy in this space? You've worked with a lot of people. You clearly have a lot of years of experience.
Yeah,
But when you talk about the strategy, that's something a lot of people don't invest a lot of time or energy into. And I'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
totally. I think the biggest mistake I see when it comes to strategy is specificity and lack of specificity. So when I say that, I mean, it's very easy to be vague and say, okay, I'm gonna grow on Instagram, or I want to be on, TikTok, because that's where a lot of growth is happening right now. But there's no thought. It's very like, go with the flavor of the month, or go with like what seems trendy. Like last year when everyone jumped on Clubhouse, I was like, what is this? Like, I'm not learning a new platform. That's my own personal thing. But without thinking through, like, okay, is my ideal person on here? Does it make sense for my offer? Do I have time for this? Like, is this something that I really want to commit to for the long term? And getting really specific and drilling down into not only what your business goals are, but also like who's your who, and what's the problem that they need solved, and where are they searching for that. It might not be on TikTok. Like, you might be making all this content and people are there to watch funny videos. They're not there to learn how to, whatever it is that your program offers. So, I think really thinking through those top line objectives and then looking at different tactics and different platforms that you can be on will help your strategy make a lot more sense and gain a lot more traction for your business.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you feel, and that's so great you said that, because the first question I ask everyone that I'm working with is, what problem are you trying to solve?
Exactly.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
it's like, once that compass is set, then you can start thinking about the strategies and the techniques and, look at the data. But until you know that part, you're really just wasting energy and possibly money.
totally. And it's hard because I work with a lot of creative, like personal development entrepreneurs. Like your business is kind of an expression of who you are, and flipping it around and getting so specific on that problem, can feel stifling, or like it's not your like creative flow. But I always say, like, your business actually isn't there to like be your whimsical creative thing. It's there to, again, solve a problem for your ideal customer
Hmm.
and make you money.
Hmm.
So like, okay, let's like get really specific so it can do those things for you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you talk about different strategies, and you've helped a lot of people with launches. What has been your experience? Let's talk about coaching. Let's talk about the entrepreneurial space.
Mhm.
What have you seen work really well with launches? I mean, people are doing quizzes, people are doing challenges, people are doing all kinds of things. How do you help people find that, and what are you seeing that's working?
Yeah. I think challenges are by far, well, anything can work, right? Like, I should say that off the bat. Like, if you, again, have the right strategy in place and it's aligned for you, like anything can work. But what I see are really popular right now that I've seen working firsthand are challenges are still extremely popular and very effective, and mini workshops, like paid master classes where you give a result. I think, especially for challenges, what I love about challenges is that you get to create a result. Like, you get to create a mini result for that person. Same with mini workshops, but um, I love challenges especially because you get to spend lots of time. You get to spend up to 5 days with your person. You get to deliver tons of value. You're in their inbox every day. They're watching videos with you. And you get to take them on a journey that
Hmm.
you wouldn't, that an hour long class, you just don't have that time. So I've actually created a 5-step process for entrepreneurs to like help them craft their challenges in order to get that result. Because oftentimes I see entrepreneurs doing like 30-day meditation challenge or like 5-day gratitude challenges, which are great. But again, if we're like trying to solve a problem and really going for creating a mini win so that they get really excited about like, oh my gosh, if I got this much value from this person in just 5 days, like, what is their paid course like? What is their private experience like? Oh my gosh, like, I can't wait for that. And so when you set your challenge up effectively, taking that next step and saying yes to the sale, like, really becomes a no-brainer.
Hmm. Hmm. Do you feel like we're at a point where we're seeing too many challenges, or do you feel like there's still what people are looking for?
I think if you get the copy right, if it speaks to your ideal person and really resonates with them, people are going to be curious and want to learn more.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I really think that's the truth. I do think that we're all becoming more sophisticated consumers. And I do think that free, like a PDF download or like, all these like free resources are they're not working as well, just because people are getting smarter. Like, oh, I don't know what value I'm going to get, like a checklist, who knows? But not knocking checklists, they're
Right.
amazing.
Of course. Yeah.
Like, we've all downloaded like something that you thought was going to be great and then it's like not great. So I think we're all getting a little smarter. And so we just have to work harder on that front end to make sure we're really delivering value.
That makes complete sense. And what are some of the mistakes that you're seeing folks make in the space? We've already talked about copyright and how important that is, but what are some of the mistakes that or pitfalls that you're seeing people kind of find themselves in before they come and work with you?
Yeah, I think the big one is when it comes to their messaging, it's that specificity. They don't know, they have an idea of their ideal client, but they haven't done the work to really like embody that person and like step into the conversation that's going on in their head. There's a phrase in copywriting where you want to enter the conversation that's already going on in your prospect's head. You want them saying,
I like that.
yeah, like you really want to align. Like that's how you catch attention, especially in such a noisy space. You want them thinking like, oh my God, I was just thinking that this morning, or, oh my gosh, like, how are you reading my journal? Like that's that's what we want them thinking. And it can be challenging to really drill down and like get into your person's shoes, especially again, if you don't know what problem you solve.
Right.
But that's a lot of what I do before I write a word of copy. I have my clients fill out like a giant questionnaire. We go through all of that kind of like psychology and the journey that they're really going to go on throughout their launch experience, that their audience is going to go through throughout their launch experience. So yeah, that's the big one. And then when it comes to challenges, again, it's like getting really focusing on the result that you're offering. I call it a promise, not a premise. So like, what's the promise? What's the result that they're going to have? What's the tangible thing they're walking away with at the end of the 5 days? If I'm just doing, 5-day meditation challenge, that's amazing. I may see like, oh my gosh, this is great, but it doesn't give me a reason to take the next step unless I'm like super into meditation.
Right.
But you can really increase your conversions when you give them that win that has them excited to take the next step with you.
Yeah, definitely. And you got me excited just thinking about challenges. So that I'm like, I should probably give us an example, kind of take us through the journey of what it looks like. So for example, if I were to want to do a challenge, and it's not something I've even considered, but if I wanted to do a challenge, what does that look like? How do I've got a product, I've got my packages, I know who my ideal client is. I know what my message is. I feel like I'm almost on the cusp.
Yeah.
What's next? Because it's not something I've ever explored. And I wonder if any of our listeners are in the same boat I'm in.
Yay. Oh my God. Okay. So what you want to do is work backwards. So if you are clear on your packages and the result that you get your client in your offerings, which, in this scenario, it sounds like you are. So it's all, I think of everything as a journey. Like what's the journey that they're on? What are the steps we need to take? So, okay, we're clear on their end result at the end of the package. We're clear on the problem they need to solve, like why they're buying. So for your challenge, I would think about like, what's the problem before the problem? What, false assumptions are they making about their issue or their symptoms that you can bust, that you can show them like, hey, you might not be thinking about this correctly. Like if you're, experiencing, like if you're not getting enough PR for your business, it might not be that your, your pitch isn't good. It might be that, again, you're not specific enough. I feel like I keep talking about that, but
Yeah, absolutely.
It might not be that you need to learn to write better pitches. It's like, it could be a bigger issue. So you would want to think about how can you, again, meet them where they are, enter the conversation that's already going on in their head, but one step ahead of where they need to be in order to buy your paid program. So then you show them like maybe the challenge is called like write 5 days to like a better pitch. But through those 5 days, you show them how to get stronger in their messaging, how to collect more compelling stories. Like you solve that underlying problem for them, while at the same time, like giving them what they want, and they walk away with this tangible result. So then they're excited to like, oh my gosh, okay, now I have this pitch, but I need Veronica to help show me what to do with it, or
Ah, gotcha.
how do you work with people? Does that make
Mhm.
sense?
Yeah, I got
And
it.
that's
I
yeah,
was gonna say, I think a lot of people, and you mentioned this, that consumers are getting smarter, and more sophisticated.
yeah.
I wonder I was wondering as you were talking, what that looks like. So you're in day 2, you're in day 3. When do you start sharing some of your offerings, or does it just organically kinda happen throughout the week? I mean, I'm curious about that. Like, do you set it up step by step, or do people just naturally ask because they're getting value? Because that's what it sounds like.
Oh, well, you definitely still wanna, like, have calls to action and, like, make the sale. You can't ever expect people to just be like, "Hey, I'm gonna give you money." Like, but yeah, you wanna precede it, like, starting on Wednesday, I have my clients, like, usually I'll add a pre-seed in the challenge content, like, we're gonna cover XYZ, and, I go a lot deeper into this in my XYZ paid program.
Gotcha.
So then by Friday, they're like curious, they're excited. Friday is always like, you deliver some kind of like the next step or whatever the like last step of the challenge is, and then you make the invitation into your paid program.
Mhm,
And then it usually goes into a week or 2 week like actual launch
mhm.
sequence.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. And do you need a big team to help you with this? Is this something just a one-person solopreneur can do? How do you find it most effective, when you're talking about like a 5-day challenge? Because it seems like a bit heavy lift.
It can be a heavy lift. I have done them with one person on my team, and uh, that it's a lot of work. You can definitely do them on your own. I think it comes down to advanced planning and not trying to do everything the week before, because then uh, that's when we end up staying up until 2 a.m., like writing the emails and all that kind of stuff. It definitely takes preparation and thinking about it, but I absolutely think, a solopreneur can pull it off. If you were to have someone on your team, I think someone like a VA to help you schedule the emails, schedule Facebook Lives, like post reminders if you're going to do a Facebook group, someone who can kind of handle those niggly like admin tasks. Um, and then if you do have a graphic designer to help you with Canva graphics and call graphics and stuff like that, but I don't, it's absolutely not necessary. You think
Yeah.
it's really just showing up and sharing your expertise and engaging with your people, and that will get you 90% of the way there.
Yeah, no, I think you're absolutely right. And I think some people work better with teams. And so delegating, you talked about working with a lot of creatives. I think
Yeah,
that's oftentimes a challenge for creatives is
totally.
the strategy, like mapping it out and 12 days before and 18 days before. And like you said, working backwards is probably really challenging for some creatives.
Yeah, and staying on task, like, just like, okay, day by day, like getting this done. So that's where like working with me or working with an OBM, like having someone who can help you map it out in advance, um, is very valuable, but you can absolutely pull it off on your own.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Well, how can people work with you? We definitely are interested in challenges. I think it's certainly something that a lot of people have experienced and have wondered about. And so, how do they get more information and learn about other kinds of launches as well, but challenges in particular?
Yeah, absolutely. So my website is my name, www.natalietaggart.com. You can learn more about me and more about how I work with people up there. You can also find me on Instagram at It's Natalie Taggart, spelled the exact same way. I'm having a lot of fun with reels, actually. So I've been doing a lot of fun, like copy training on video, stuff like that. So if you want to know more about challenges and launching and behind the scenes of business, yeah, come over and follow me. I would love to see you.
Oh, that's great. I love it. Natalie, you have been fantastic. I especially loved the emphasis on copywriting, I have to tell you.
Yay. Oh, I'm so glad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
I really think it's like the overlooked magic of business. So, and I'm trying to make it more accessible and demystify it. So yeah, I'm so glad.
yeah, no, I think that's key. And I think what you do brings so much value to folks. And I just appreciate your time. And guys, please go to her website. I'm going to put that right back up. All of her links will also be in the show notes if you're listening on the podcast. We want you to connect with Natalie to learn more about copywriting and about launching, because it may look different for different people, but with all her years of experience, Natalie can definitely help you out. Thank you so much for spending time with us today.
Thank you again for having me.
All right. On Saturday Soundbites, we talk about marketing, advertising, public relations, branding, networking, and all the things that are going to help grow your business. And Natalie has some really great insights, especially for those who've been curious about a launch. Maybe you've done a launch and it didn't go the way you wanted, or maybe you just want to learn a little bit more about how you can create challenges and really start bringing people into your business. She's got a formula that you are going to love. So make sure you connect with her. All right. If you're listening on the podcast, you know what to do. Hit subscribe. We don't want you to miss any episodes of Saturday Soundbites. And if you catch us on the replay on Facebook or YouTube, #replay. So Natalie and I can go back and maybe answer any questions you have and just connect. So with that, I'm going to send you off by sending you lots of positive energy and light.